Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's race 12 out of 16 for season 28 of AOR's Tier 1 Championship. My name is Hermann the German and we are back after a lengthy break to have another go at great racing in this league, and we are live from the Shanghai International Circuit in China that has been absent for almost 5 years. And the real world has returned this year for a very nice weekend and spectacle. And let's see what our probably 15 drivers today can produce on this infamous racetrack. Before we head into the session, our, of course, 18-minute long qualifying, I have an update on the driver lineup for you, and that is currently with Aston Martin's Lucas Ojo retiring from the season, and I've been informed that Funanana for us has been blacklisted because he didn't comply to the sign-out rules of this league, and which is after 3 no shows where you don't sign out or just don't appear on the grid at all, you're going to be removed, and there's going to be space made for new drivers. We are looking at the track map for today's race, 16 corners, 2 very interesting snake curves with that very infamous turn 1 to turn 4, very good break, very good overtaking opportunity into 6 and 14, and obviously that very interesting pit lane entry and exit, and a fast flowing sector 2, high speed 1, sector 3, and twisty 1 in sector 1. 28 laps are upon us, and the drivers. Yeah, this was the last result from the race we had last time out in Spain. Rising Moon second place meant that he clinched the title because the rest was too far away, and Glücksbirne retiring from the season meant that he was unable to score any points. And we have seen a very dominant drive from Karim to take his first ever win, and a very good showing from Kramer once again. Red Bull putting in a strong and solid weekend with at least one driver, but most of the times 2 for as of right now. And Solid Ninja Snake in 4th after a recent bloom in performance. Singapore, he wasn't right there, but Spain, he finally conducted those extra efforts he put into to finish in 4th. Max Stuka 5th. Cypher and Gabriel have been given 5 and 10 second time penalties at the end of the race. Rivershan 8th. Aerodynamics 9th. Tobias 10th. Tudor and Tezik did not finish the Spanish Grand Prix. And this is the drivers' standings, as you can see. 131 points already ahead of Glücksbirne. I think that gap is even bigger. Don't quote me on the points, because sometimes I don't know what the website is doing, but might be not accurate by a couple of points, but the point still stands. The gap is too big to catch Rising Moon. And this is a very early seal of the championship. Karim fighting with Tezik, who lost out big time. So the 25 points swing towards Tezik's 0 made it a lot more difficult, and there are 20 points between the both of the Red Bull drivers. Max Stuka up. Solid Ninja Snake performing very well. As you can see, Portugal was also a strong finish, and he has made way towards Max Zucker. Cypher up into 11th by 2 positions, and Gabriel can, as you can see at the bottom, just overtaking the now retired Lucas. And that's 19th now for the McLaren driver, despite his qualifying pace, currently unable to finish inside of a good points paying position. Let me quickly run into the lobby. And we continue with the Constructors World Championship, and this looks to be settled and clinched by Mercedes. And if Gabriel can find more pace, then they can fight it out for second place with Red Bull, but their overall consistency means that they are ahead by some points. And Monaco not scoring, and as you can see, Singapore big swing, more points than Portugal as well. Only Spain, Canada, the only 2 places where they outscored Red Bull. Then it's basically Max Zucker versus Cypher for 4th. With Pedro retiring, it's Tobias to hold on to that 6th for Ferrari Alpine. Initially with 2 drivers, but none of them raced last time out. Sauber 33, so that is still possible if Aero can get more points on the board. Got 2 last time out, so that's good. Aston Martin 28, and is now on 0, but should be more because Funanana scored, so maybe that's fucked up the points now in my standing. So I have to correct that for next time, but that is certainly not correct. But we have to go with that one for now. Anything else? No, we can head into the session. We are a bit early though, so hope you don't mind. And we are currently awaiting the arrival of drivers. I'm surprised that Rosenmoon is here again. Let's hope the rest can bring the race to him. Solid Intersnake is here, Tudor is here as well. And then Project Race GP is obviously he is registered as Robert Lennon. Exactly. Okay. So that's Robert in the Williams. And that's Max Duca. So sorry, I need to correct that. But Max Duca's points, obviously from Spain, help the cause of that Constructors World Championship for 4th more. And I believe Robert can bring more points in for the team, but just hasn't done that because of absence in Spain. Tobias is here, and both Red Bulls with Tesik and Kramer, and Gabriel for McLaren. So I think we're gonna see at least one more McLaren, some Alpines, hopefully Vika up, and there's Karim. That's good. Okay. Let me check if there's anything more in the Discord. Not right now. And we will probably have Endure as a reserve again. Okay, just thought there was no sound on again. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that Brazilian Grand Prix, because I certainly did. I don't know where it ranks for you, but I think I give it an 8.5. 20 laps without action is not a top 5 race in my books, but certainly top. Sorry, not the best one right now. I think, honestly, for me right now it must have been Mexico or Hungary. I think there was just the 2-stopper and how everything planned out, and there was overall a lot of action. Sadly, with the current generation of cars, you can't overtake without the S. So. Yeah. And obviously that double Alpine podium tastes very nice. I've been supporting this team for a long time. And I think they are very well deserving of that. And then if you look back to Bahrain, where we all thought that Max Verstappen's gonna just dominate again and take everything by storm, just like last year, then oh boy, we were all wrong. And secondly, Alpine were 19th and 20th on that grid, lining up for that Sunday. So that was, let me check. That was over 8 months ago. So yeah, what a turnaround that has been for that team. And next up in 3 weeks. 3 weeks time, we're gonna have an interesting Vegas Grand Prix with probably Ferrari returning to the front of the field, because I expect them to be strong there. And yeah, Lando Norris once again proving to me that he's not worthy of a championship. His wet weather driving and the decision making also of the team did not help. So yeah, he was doing a good job. Obviously the start again shitty, but yeah, I think there's nothing to expect at the moment there. And then the car was just too much downforce, and that it could have finished an easy second. And yeah, I don't know about you, but I think like since the ground effect cars came back, the use of the forward tire has always been shortened or basically deleted by the fact that there is always an intervention with rain by safety car or red flag. So don't think that was worth pitting at that stage. And I think Russell, if he is upset right now, which he should be, yeah, other decisions I think Mercedes would have done in the past prior to the current generation of cars. I'm still waiting on 4 drivers, apparently, with 2 minutes over the clock. So RB and Haas are both emptied. So there's currently no V-Carb or Haas listed. And Endo has taken the Haas. So no Cypher for today. We're still missing people. And obviously the championship is over now. I don't think Red Bull are gonna struggle with another weekend like they had prior to the race today. So McLaren just need to focus on the team's championship now. If Piastri is faster, don't let him by. So yeah. Timothy says, let it be a Max day. Avanti Max Stuger. Yeah, I hope Max Stuger can once again score some good points here. And yeah, maybe have Williams get that 4th in the Constructors title. And maybe him further into the top 10. So yeah, let's see. Don't know if it's his favorite track or what we can expect here today. But even if qualifying maybe does not go his way, then I'm certain he is fast in the race. So, but that is yet to see in the next 1.5 hours. So let's see. There would be 3 drivers. We are waiting. Pasti is missing. Kramer is missing. Kramer's in. Kramer's in. So aerodynamics for Sauber and Pasti for Alpine are missing. Yeah. 11 drivers apparently. That is our 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, Aero had an accident, I'm just reading here. That's unfortunate, hope he gets away soon. What is this? Yeah, okay. We are on the way for the 18-minute qualifying session for the Chinese Grand Prix. In season 28, race 12 out of 16, so and as of right now it's overcast for this track. China has seen plenty of rain sessions in the past. Remembering that sprint quali from this year. Then there was there rain in 2016? I think so. There was none in 2018. There was some in 07. In 09, that infamous first win for Red Bull. Oh, I need to disconnect the wheel, hang on. Not used to that. My old wheel didn't do that. Yeah, let me know if you think it's loud enough. I think we can turn it up a bit. And for myself and for you guys, so yeah, some drivers out already, and that's probably gonna be once again Rise Moon against Karim for the front row. Karim has some pace in his car, and his overall performance delta found over the last 5 races to be in the fight more often. Also Silverstone, Spain, Portugal, he was in there. As we watch Solid Ninja Snake heading into that first couple of corners, exiting 4 now. And this little band of 5 into 6. Very good opportunity to have a lunge down the inside on the opening lap if your leader or the car in front of you is napping a bit. Thinks he's safe. Obviously that slower exit out of 4 is sometimes provoking mistakes from drivers when their car is a bit oversteering and they are just gonna lose momentum, and then you have a chance. Also, huge difference in tires usually promotes these kind of moves as we head onto what is one of the longest straights on the F1 calendar, 1.1 kilometers long. And that's, I think, over 1.65 miles, I think. Not sure, but around that. That is only beaten by the last sector of Baku, as Solid Ninja Snake puts in a 31.5. And next guy to cross the line was Tezik to finish his outlap and start off with his lap. And Maizumuna has decided to call it a day once again and start from the back, as Tobias is just 23 thousandths of a second faster. And also Max Duca is not too far behind here, as the next car is gonna be Karim, all with a 31. And within a 10th of each other. And even Karim finds his way into this group. 4 cars in between a gap of a 10th. Wow, that's impressive. Very well done so far from these drivers. And our post-sitter from Canada, Tudor, is now heading for that very tricky braking zone of 14. The overtaking opportunity you will see the most opening up for these drivers. 31.9, that's not too far away. What with Gabriel? Gabriel goes to 31.420 and puts it into provisional pole position as Tese comes over the line, and even him you can squeeze into a gap, and that is going to be second place. Wow. 2 tenths between the top 6. And I think Tudor is gonna find some time, because I certainly think he didn't use all of his ERS. Karim could do a second run. The rest doesn't look likely to do it. As Endure in the Haas as a reserve today. He's opening up his lap as we see Robert going for that warm up of his tires. Yeah, one thing for certain is probably gonna be medium hard all the way. Softs are just wearing out too much, and track limits everywhere are gonna make the life of these drivers a bit more difficult, as we jump on board for the first hot lap attempt of Robert in this qualifying session. And he rotates the car around nicely, wiggles a bit on the exit, but that is not from oversteer, and he used third gear for that. For maximum traction also in this part. The car seems to be very over-rotatory here. Uses a lot of the diff settings to bring the car around, which is necessary to be quick on this track, and he currently throws it in very nicely but also a bit unstable as of right now. And that is currently around the time that Solid Ninja Snake did. Quickly goes to 4th to open up the traction of this corner. And now we are blasting down the straight. As I said, really only be beaten by Baku, because that full throttle section, even with 2 corners, is 2 kilometers long. Also, oversteer moment here. Oversteer moment from the Williams. Endo only to 8th. And Robert goes to 7th. In between Tudor and behind his teammate. And Kramer is now onto the main straight as well. Let me think. Monza might be also one of the longest, maybe around a kilometer. And the full throttle section of Belgium after turn 1 is also very long. I assume longer than 1.1 kilometers, so that's the range of top speed we are getting. Kramer only 9th, 32.1. Did not seem to be hooked up as of right now. So who is, I think, yeah, Solid Ninja Snake already on a second run. Comes into the third sector now. Almost 2/10 up on his previous best. And that would mean pole position currently for him. Provisional pole position, I mean. And he gets a nice slipstream off of that Williams that is now on the way into the pits. Wow. That might be the most unintentional assist of a pole position I've seen in a long time. Apart from Chazuke putting it into the barrier in Monaco. As Solid Ninja Snake goes to P1 for the Chinese Grand Prix qualifying. When the one Mercedes retires to give its competitors a chance, the other one will prevail. And I did not think that at the start of the season, because Snake wasn't there. Was comprehensively beaten by other drivers, as there's a 2.5 tenths improvement for Max Duca, although his entry into 11 and 12 did not seem to be very accommodating for his lap time. So Max is now into the braking zone of 14, coming down from 320 kph. Bit more if you fancy a low downforce setup into turn 14. Don't invalidate now. Over the line for Max Duca on the second run. Provisional pole position goes to the Williams from Italy. And it's over 0.4 of a second, as you can see. And what has started as a very close session has suddenly turned into, as Timothy put it, maximum max domination. And the day for the Maxes just continues to get better. But if you're French, maybe you have a good chance too, because those two Frenchmen just put in a double podium. 0.03 of a second ahead of Tobias. Tudor puts in a time of 31.507 to go to 5th position, as both of the McLarens are now coming up to the line. Gabriel needs half a second to be found by him, and he does not do that. 3.5 tenths for P2, and Karim finds 4 tenths to go to P3. So that's a McLaren 2-3 at the moment, and Tese cannot deny them that for now. 0.2 of a second better than his previous best, as Endo is now also on a faster lap, and Tobias was in that turn 1, turn 2 section there as well. So everyone has completed the second run, apart from both of the Ferrari powered cars. And that is soon to change. Let's compare their laps. Currently, bottom of the table is Endor. Hasn't used any of his ears really. And is 0.8 faster, which would put him in the P6-7 area. How much faster was Tobias? It doesn't matter, his lap is invalid with 4.5 minutes to go. And Endor is keeping a bit of that charge till the end. Again, use it at the exit of 14 and into the main straight if he wishes to do so. Yeah, a bit of that is coming to life right now. Into the final corner. Very close to track limits. Goes to P8 on a 31.5 as predicted. At the bottom end of these three drivers who set a very similar lap time. And now the gap to Robert is up to 3/10, and Kramer is now the only driver with a 32.1 and finds himself at the bottom of the field, while Max Stuka is the only other driver to not have posted a time in the 1:31s, as there's over a half a second of an improvement for Kramer. But that currently only maybe means P8, P9, or maybe P6, depending on how much of his remaining charge is willing to use. And he used almost everything on the straight. And now the most important bit is not to fuck up your braking before you hit, before you lose everything on that. Over the line, the ploy used goes to third. 31.0, very close to pole position. But I highly assume that this is his last attempt, as Robert is now on the track, apparently half a tenth fast, 2.5 tenths almost faster. After sector 1, also no ES usage here from him until the start of the straight. Half a second faster, that would be a 31.3. Would put him right in there, as it's currently a Mercedes sandwich from the drivers still running. Moon probably going for that last to first again, which is very likely to be happening, just like in Portugal. Although it was close. Also, this braking zone was mastered. Now the rotation, the turn in for the final corner, bit conservative, but he puts it into P5 on a 31.1. But yeah, if he didn't feel for the rest of the session, and that's him with a maximum of a P5. And Gabriel is the first on track for the final attempt. And as we see, Kramer is in the pits together with Endor. Don't think they're gonna improve, because they are not out on track. And as you can see, it's less. There's less time remaining than you need to do an outlap on. Or the time you need to do an outlap is not enough anymore. Gabriel is starting the final runs of the session with Solid Ninja Snake behind, and then it's his teammate in fourth. And we're gonna be comparing them two. Let's see. Third gear short shift at the switch into what is turn 3, and there's a slightly worse attempt brewing up for Gabriel right now. Let's see what Karim has found. And he found 1.5 tenths. And this would put Max Duca under pressure right now. Next sector line is already coming up for Gabriel. Just a tiny bit faster. Would not mean anything right now. Max Duca slower by 1.5 tenths. Karim found more time, half a second faster. And then there's a bit of a lag for us on the screen, so he did not actually spin or do anything. So this looks like Max Duca is under pressure for the pole position. He currently holds it, but did Gabriel find something to beat him to it? Over the line now for the McLaren driver. Finds 3 tenths to go into P1. Solid Ninja Snake finds 2.5 tenths to go into P4. Karim over the line, and he beats his cousin once again. It's a McLaren front row as of right now. Next across the line is Tezik. Has he found something in his lap? He did. Almost 2 tenths ahead of Kramer, who stays in 5th. And Max Duca is into the pit lane, as well as Tudor. Only Tobias left to do. Oh, and he went off the track. And I wasn't even fast, unfortunately. So it's a McLaren front row, and then the Williams splits the Red Bulls with Solid Ninja Snake in 6th, Robert 7th, Tudor 8th, and then 3 drivers very closely matched. Maybe they will bring the back of the pack for today if nothing happens into turn 1. But very close, 4 tenths between the top 7. Also, 2 drivers could not improve at the end. And the track, as always, gets faster. And there have it once again. Rosamund opting to start from the back, and that will result in a charge through the field. And it was close. 56 thousandths of a second between the McLaren drivers from the Lebanon out of the Italian in the Williams, and that was a very good effort, but unfortunately no time found for Max Duca. And it's overcast again, which still could mean some rain. we are back for the formation lap of today's race on the Shanghai International Circuit. And you can see that multiple drivers have chosen a hard tire. In fact, only both McLarens, Solid Ninja Snake for Mercedes and Tobias for Ferrari, have opted to go for the medium tire. And I think that may indicate some rain coming for around the halfway mark of this race. Although I have to admit that starting on hards is usually the better strategy, as the game just underlines my argument there. So this field is very little prone to incidences, safety cars, overall a lot of crashes. Would not suggest starting on a hard tire, because you can go that long early, at a very early point in the race, and then to stop is already not worth it. As we head into the final couple of corners. Everyone is warming up the tires. If there's rain, the medium runners are will be hoping for an early start of the rain. And if you're on the hards, you are praying it comes at last, as late as possible, when the medium runners already need to pit, as this might be the furthest away I've ever seen the starting camera. As we go to 5 red lights, McLaren 1-2 at the front. Both of the cousins are racing for that next race win. I can't see shit. Now we are finally seeing something. Max Duca and Tesik are fighting for third. On the inside is the Red Bull through, almost overtaking the McLaren there. As Project Race GP, also known as Robot, is... Oh, there's a collision! And Max Duca's good qualifying session has been come undone after a collision with Kramer. And Rising Moon is already fighting Tobias for 8th. But unfortunately, that Ferrari is just up ahead. Is there damage to these two cars? Yeah, front wing damage for Kramer. And not the race start he was hoping for. And we certainly did not really see what the issue, what the reason for that starting collision was. Because it certainly looked like, from that perspective, that you could not see it very clearly, as they all are now heading onto that long back straight, the main straight, and Karim still leads Gabriel, as Rising Moon is pulling out of the slipstream of Tobias and breaks slightly ahead of him to confirm that move. Get the pass done and up to 8th, and in turn 16, him and Endo are running off the track as DRS is enabled for the first time in this race. And the medium runners are not actually running away. Solid Ninja Snake could hold his position and is putting pressure onto Tesik. But both of the McLaren drivers are still struggling a bit. Defensive move from Tesik. Is there a chance for the switchback? And Solid Ninja Snake lines it up. Is on the outside now for the left-hander and completes the move before there is a chance for Tesik to fight that one back. And Solid Ninja Snake is certainly in his form, in the form of his life right now. Has shown up, put in Very good performances. Singapore missed out because he overcooked it in the latter stages of the race. 5th position in Portugal, 4th in Spain. Maybe that elusive podium is now on the cards. His car is slightly under fuel. He's currently walking the +0 lane, and that may suggest people are under fueling because of rain. Let me go through the onboards. Solid Ninja Snake with the fastest lap. That's a lap. That's more than a lap. That's almost a lap. And now Endo is fighting Rising Moon and slightly taps him to the back. And now I can't see it. Tobias is roughly a lap and just on the edge for Max Stuka as well. And now Gabriel needs to put on some defensive moves for his teammate and cousin. While the top 6 are still within that one group. And Rising Moon currently letting them go a bit. Not sure if he struggles with the pace at the moment. Beautiful helicopter shots as we turn our attention to the start of the first DRS zone on lap 3. And that could certainly be a change for position, not 1 but maybe 2. If Gabriel thinks this is the right time to swap positions, they're gonna do it. And he locks up and made Skyrim slow and now opened the door for Solid Ninja Snake to take that 2nd place away. And there's more pressure to come from the Red Bull behind. As now Tesik is on the inside, dipping the wheel in, trying to put himself into that door, getting that foot stuck in to make Solid Ninja Snake choose a different line through 3 and 4. They're very closely matched. And Solid Ninja Snake has a way better exit and almost fights Gabriel into turn 7. But the McLaren in 2nd stays ahead for now. Slightly wide there. As Tudor just went sideways there as they apply the brakes for turn 11. Very easy to lock it up and hit the guy in front of you, or needing to take evasive actions. And they are not gonna have an easy time pulling off that move once again. Gabriel on the inside needs to apply the brakes correctly this time. Does so. There's no door opening up for the McLaren behind. But because of this effect where they all get squeezed together and just open spaces up once again, some drivers may fancy a look down the inside if the car ahead is slightly out of line. Rising Moon unable to catch Tudor. He has to do that on his own. Has no additional resources. 30% ES charge. As we watch from the Halo cam, right inside of the Mercedes. As Gabriel seems to be a bit under pressure. It's always easier to follow a car than driving in the clean air. But with that I mean obviously the orientation you get from the car in front. And you have always You always have to adjust when you clear the car in front. Tizik is now trying to get Solid Ninja Snake's podium spot. That there's a switchback from the Mercedes driver. They're racing towards turn 16, but on the inside the Red Bull is through. Runs a bit wide. And there's an off moment for Endure. As Solid Ninja Snake is back into third. Max, Super Max from Milan in the chat, yeah. He had occurred an incident at the start of the race. Has been spun around and not found the pace yet, as we continue to see the fight for third between the Red Bull driver and the Mercedes. As the McLarens did not swap around again. The reminder for the tires. Max is running that long game, as most of these drivers are. And there's back into third, and that opens the gap for Robert, who's also on the harder tire. And there's a spin from Endor. Half spin from Endor, enabling Max to go into what is now 9th position. And he has found a way to get by without too much correction on the steering wheel. There was no real danger from Endo on side of the track. Is Robert looking for that move? Oh, there's a wide moment from Gabriel! And now Karim takes back the lead, but Tizik might have a go on the racing. And he needs to take a compromise line through 16. And now everyone behind is fancying a go at it. And you can see Rise of Moon is also into the top 7 group now, as they have all been fighting so much. Tizik on the inside of Gabriel, turns to the outside of 3. But maybe the exit is better for the hard tire runner already. And they're going towards turn 6. Helicopter overview shot. Gabriel tries to stick it around the outside. A bit too much curb usage on the exit. But the Red Bull is slightly ahead. And this is not real life racing. This is not Lando Norris against Max Verstappen. No one's gonna send a dive down the inside here. This is all clean. This is all good. And Tizik is looking for that P1 spot right now, because these mediums are already getting very worn. And there seems to be no rain on the way as of right now. So this is generally their tire strategy for today, if nothing happens in terms of a safety car or anything. And Max Tucker has lost the position to Endo once again. So his pace from qualifying did not, as of right now, transition to his race pace. As we see Kyle move to the inside to break the slipstream. And there was a tap from behind. I think there was a tap from behind from Gabriel. And he has spun the Red Bull around, who was looking so good. Tudor into 4th and rising into 5th. And now the DRS has been broken and Robert is into 2nd. And that will be certainly looked at by the stewards, because that was just a slam dunk. I hit you in the rear and you go around. There was no locking up from what I just saw there. So I think Gabriel is gonna get himself into trouble again. A driving error forces him to get off the podium once again. Had very good qualifying performances over the past couple of races, but no really good points were converted on race day in quotas. And now a new hard runner is trying to use his tire advantages into the DRS detection zone and by under a second, which is this line you can see on the racetrack on the asphalt there. And that will help Robert defend from the car behind, as Karim could use more of his ERS to defend. Solid Ninja Snake is way above what Robert has to offer in terms of ERS deployment. And Tudor is looking now the inside of the Mercedes. takes a very sharp angle for the turn on the inside, and that means he's unable to complete that move as the already crowned world champion in the Mercedes. Rise the Moon is fighting that, and the ERS disadvantage is gonna mean that Solid Ninja Snake takes second again. Oh, and there was a slow moment from Karim. Misjudged that turn in a bit, and Solid Ninja Snake could take a way tighter line, and that helped him close the gap down. Now everyone behind is looking to get something done. Another spin from Endor. Max is now has now cleared the Haas. As we go to the rear view shot of the McLaren, who's currently leading this race. Hasn't led it the whole way through, but has started on pole as more of the sun is coming out. So I assume we are staying on slicks. And these strategies are gonna plan out, gonna work out very soon. Uses hot lap here, and now the wing is opened for the Mercedes. No one is really pulling out to do anything. Cam just breaks the toe, uses an alternate line, and there's a Red Bull once again off. And that's Tezik. He was maybe surprised where people were braking. And after challenging for P1, he's now into 7th and will be anything but happy. As we head to Solid Ninja Snake maybe taking the lead of the race around the outside. The Mercedes has the outer line that turns usually to the inside. And he had the Williams on his outside as well. And that did not make it work for them, as Gabriel is now putting pressure onto Rising Moon on the inside. And his through uses a bit of extra energy to help him secure that place. Why always this camera? Thank you. Right before they hit the turning point for turn 7. And there's another spin by Endor. When was that collision? I think lap 6 or 7. A lot of slipstreaming going on. The Williams into second. Can he pull to first? Switches the lines up. Goes to the outside. The Williams on the better tire for now already. 10 laps into this Grand Prix. The mediums are fading. And Robert leads the race at the start of lap 10 and immediately pulls to the left-hand side to break the slipstream, to defend from a counter-attack, but it's inevitably coming from Karim into P1 again, into turn 1. Let's see if he can hold it. It's very tight between the bang wheels on the inside of 2. Now into 3, it turns to the outside. Lion for the Williams driver. Yes, usually the better traction. There's a slight oversteer tap from Karim into the back tires. Left-hand side tire for the Williams, as Tudor is now fighting Solid Ninja Snake, who is himself on the medium tires, fading now. And they need to think about an undercut, about that pit stop now, because these drivers are going to be faster for some time now if they stay on the mediums, and Tudor is staying in at third, despite Snake fighting that. On the outside, it isn't Robert around. Robert is around. Huge moment. Did they have contact? Did Karim have contact? And now Tudor is leading the race for the first time since Canada, when he joined the league after being promoted to first split. And everything is just going downhill. Reminder of the tire situation. 3 of the top 5 are currently on the medium tires, and they are slipstreaming each other, with Tudor trying to break the toe on 11% of ES charge. And now there's a chance for Gabriel to get back into that position he was in before, but he is currently fighting his teammate for that second spot, and Rising Moon has overtaken his teammate and is fighting that podium position because he's also on hard tires that are just working right now with the sun coming out, and they are heading again for a slipstream fight into turn 1. There's basically no chance for a defensive move here from that McLaren with no ES, as Tudor has been re-overtaken by Karim. Currently on the inside now behind him. And now Rising is bringing Solid Ninja Snake back into the equation because Gabriel has lost that position and Tesik is also back. Jesus Christ. And there's another slow move. Karim with a deep move into turn 6, and now there's a side-by-side moment from these two drivers who have fought their way brilliantly through the last couple of races while fighting for the lead of these races in Portugal and as well in Spain, as Karim took his first win in this season last time out on 13th of October. After being in the top 2 for some races, oversteer moment from Solid Ninja Snake. These tires are gone. They need to change something. And they should change it now. Karim is pulling to the inside now of Solid Ninja Snake, and Tesik is being overtaken. No, is trying to overtake, and Solid Ninja Snake gets back into, and there's a pit stop from Karim. There's the undercut attempt on his teammate and on Solid Ninja Snake. And Rising Moon is now into P1. Let me give you the gap to the leader to see where Karim is. That feels like a long stop, but the field is just that close. (23 seconds. Can he get the tires warmed up? I think the overcut for his teammate Gabriel and for Solid Ninja Snake in third right now might be the play, because they are benefiting from this DS train that is currently not fighting like they did for the last couple of laps. And that is not costing them as much as it had before, because we saw Tesik is now back into this. It is still on a hard tire as Tudor is going to the outside and the front of Rising Moon. And Solid Ninja Snake needs to think about this. Don't fight the inside, goes into the pit lane, Gabriel into the pit lane as well. So this is a direct head-to-head with Karim, who's currently 23 behind the leader. But they themselves were just a couple of tenths behind them. As Tobias is also into the pits. And as expected, hard tires for both of these drivers, as Karim is now coming across the line and in front of his teammate and in front of Solid Ninja Snake, and he has the warm-up tire, so he has the opportunity to get away here, use all of that traction, as Kramer is into 6 after overtaking Endo into turn 6. He needs to use all of this tire advantage in terms of tire warm-up to his advantage in this second sector now. Because if you overcook it with cold tires, you're gonna have huge understeer for Solid Ninja Snake. And then he's gonna lose out to the DS. Currently not what is happening, but the gap is increasing. Let's look to the top 3 again. Tudor being overtaken by not 1 but 2 cars, because Tesik is gunning for that inside line. into turn 14. And these drivers are all on the hards now. But the top 7 have started on them. And Gabriel has actually lost the gap to Solid Ninja Snake as both of the Williams are pulling into the pit lane. With 13 laps to go, they want to have the medium tires. Top 3 are unchanged. Edo is re-overtaking Kramer. Oh, they're actually battling side by side. Looks good, and obviously medium tires. Now Kramer still with that broken front wing, needs to pit soon as well. Pit stops are opening up, 13 laps on mediums. Looks very likely to be the strat for tonight. I think Max Tuka is going to be a bit furious because he lost out on a pit stop a bit. Jesus Christ, my voice is going. And the McLaren, sorry. And the Red Bull is ahead now. Staying inside the DS window did not help Solid Ninja Snake or Gabriel. But he stay inside the DS window. Gabriel isn't. And he has first medium runner behind him. No pit stops from the front 3 as Endo re-overtakes Kramer into turn 14. Both of them having a nice little scrap. Pit stop for both of them at the same time. Very deep from the Haas. See if there's gonna be an attempt from Solid Ninja Snake into turn 1. No, not the best overtaking opportunity. It's not really heavy braking zone and you really need to be side by side. Because the corner naturally runs to the outside and the car on the inside usually pushes the driver on the outside a bit more to the outside and onto the dirty line. It's very hard to get one pass done, and then the risk you take is not worth it. Just wait maybe for a mistake by them into turn 6 and get it done there. Or if you don't feel it, don't need to put pressure on, then just stay behind for sector 2 and then try again. And trying again is Tesik, and after that collision and all of the fighting, he is back into P1. And now heading into the pits. Rising Moon is not, Tudor is as well. So not sure if the other Mercedes is thinking about maybe the soft tire. Certainly don't hope so. And Solid is out of Karim. And Robert is at the fastest lap of the race and is ahead of Tesik and Tudor. And the 2-lap undercut is currently working, but he needs to be inside the DRS because he's currently running low on battery. And he needs to get this job done just to make sure he is not left stranded alone. But I think the tire advantage is speaking for him, as it's a Mercedes 1-2 with one still needing to pit. And Solid Ninja Snake would currently take the lead from his teammate. But is also under pressure from these cars behind, with the leading charge of the Williams. Lap 15 we saw double stick Williams. Und die sind jetzt gerade rein. Robert goes for that overtake into Gabriel. And there's a 3-second time penalty for the first time in this race for Max Duca, unfortunately. And not so sure what Rising is trying to achieve here. But his time is running out. Is he not believing in the medium tires? Or is he actually going for that soft? As Kramer puts in the fastest lap of the race with that extra front wing damage change, and Gabriel is fighting Tesik there. Red Bull with barely any ERS left. And the outside for turn number 8 turns to the inside for 9 and 10, and this is why he stays ahead, but needs to be aware of the situation that he does not, at any cost, can lose. Does not can lose, as he cannot lose the DRS to the cars in front of him. Is there a pit stop now coming from Rising Moon? No. Question mark. Karim into P2. What is after pit stops? And Tudor is fighting Gabriel for 6. And 3-second time penalty for Solid Ninja Snake. And all of his good work has come undone if it stays like this. That is so unfortunate. It's so easily done at the exit of the last corner. If you run over that slight bump on the inside, you just lose car control a bit and you just run wide, as Tesik now retakes 4th from Robert, and these medium tire runners are just not helping themselves. They need to close the gap down. Obviously the penalty promotes them both, but only one of them is currently... No, both of them will be standing... No, only one of... No, both of them will be standing on the podium, sorry. Sometimes it's confusing. Yeah, 14 seconds, the gap is falling down for Rising Moon, and I'm seriously questioning what he's gonna do. Because even if his medium tire is gonna be 4 laps younger than Roberts and 2 laps younger than Tesik and Tudor's one. And Rising Moon has received a 3-second time penalty going to the pit lane. Don't think that will stand. Certainly did not in my league. So I question what is happening now. He can't be... He's putting on the mediums, but why so late? He's running out of laps? I don't get it. And he did not stay ahead by a long shot. And Tobias is even in front of him. Nah, close. It was close. So he has 6 seconds to close down now. And then overtake everyone, basically. Because I don't think the penalty is justified. There's a Mercedes leading, as per usual in this league. But it's not Rising Moon. This time it's Solid Ninja Snake. And he's currently been demoted because of his penalty into 6, and that is really, really hurting. You think he's gonna appeal this one? Then go for it. And nothing seems to be hammered in stone. And most of these drivers from P3 down on the medium tires now. Gabriel is back into that DS window as well. And all of the slipstream is going on. Tesik has a double slipstream effect from the guys in front. He's trying to go for the outside of turn 14, while Tudor is going for P4 on Robert, who's now at the end of this queue. And Gabriel seems to be out of ERS and is out of the DRS as well, as they once again apply the brakes for turn 1. And this is the first flying lap, and Rising already found a second. So maybe he's sad by the fact that they are battling so much. He's actually now gaining time. And his old tire just did not enable him to do so, to gain time or extend the lead. And mostly it's just managing this gap now. But as I said, the penalty stands, he needs to get more shit done. And even if not, he still needs to overtake at least 5 cars. Because he's 7th and would inherit the position of his teammate anyway. A lot of saving has been going on for Karim, and he's now under pressure. And will be overtaken by Tizik, who is, after a miserable Spanish Grand Prix, back into a top podium position, and this time, as of right now, winning this race, as Tudor is now into 3rd, and Karim has been overtaken by two drivers. And Rising Moon is at the fastest lap of the race and is down to 2.9 seconds already. Okay, I underestimated his pace maybe, as Endo receives a 3-second time penalty. Gonna have this group of cars fight it out with another additional member for the next 6.5 laps. A lot of saving is going on from Tudor here. Put his ears to none in the middle sector. And you can see that this second McLaren is in here. And this Constructors World Championship fight between Red Bull and McLaren just got a lot more interesting, because there's one driver not scoring a point, and that is currently a Red Bull. Stasic is now trying to take the actual lead of this race from Solid Ninja Snake. And Robert Ford, there wasn't a door open, and he snatched that P4 off from Karim, and both of the McLarens, they started on the hards, now fighting the medium runners, and currently their weapons are not sharp, but Karim is managing to stay behind. And Gabriel maybe needs to put on a fight. Obviously fresh mediums against older hard tires, not gonna be an easy job, especially with the pace difference. But Azmoon just has caught the back of the McLaren driver in the middle part of this track, and the second sector is really putting in some dirty air, but also the biggest advantage for a new tire, because you have such a grip advantage, and that might cost him some extra tenths and maybe a lap or two more to get by on someone. And he's certainly close enough, also on the inside here, because of his grip. He's already completed that move, it seems. And with this DRS assistance, he certainly got that job done. Tudor into 2nd position. And Solid Ninja Snake with the hard tires managing very well, despite his penalty. And currently looks at a P6 finish. Don't think, as I said before, Rising Moon's penalty is staying. And Tudor needs to manage his ERS battery still. They're all turning it down basically, and there's a snap of oversteer for Robert as he's looking at the back of the Mercedes rear wing as we head into the second sector on the 24th lap. And obviously the more and the longer you wait, the more you fight, your tires are gonna fade away from you. And as I said before, the hard tire is very durable, has a great performance, and only this big gap caused by the late pit stop of Rising Moon is gonna make a difference here, I think. So he's gonna be in that DRS chain on the start of the next lap. And then now once again following each other like a snail, like a snake, zigzagging on the straight a bit, and there's a slight contact between the Williams and the Mercedes. Solid Ninja Snake and the Robert. Robert maybe thinking, okay, you closed that door a bit too early, I was still on the inside, and then the game goes at me, handing you that position. And now he is back behind the Mercedes, and there's a slightly optimistic attempt here as Max Stucker overtakes Tobias for 8th. Unfortunately, he has a time penalty that will demote him behind the Ferrari as of right now. Just a quick reminder on the positions gained: 5 for Rising Moon starting at the back, but 6 for Tudor, 3 for Solid Ninja Snake, 3 for Robert, and 3 from Terzik, Gabriel, Max Stucker, and Kramer losing out big time. All did a stop. Yeah, all did one stop. And yeah, mediums and hards spread across. Hard runner pitting early, obviously, when they started on the medium. And a very late pit stop on lap 20 from Rising Moon is currently giving him a good advantage in terms of pace. As we see the top 6 all in one picture, as Andrew has now lost his car again and giving Red Bull an extra point. This obviously would help. And after that collision, Tezicat is currently looking like he's gonna take the win away and giving Red Bull even a bigger lead and a secured second position in the Constructors' World Championship. And I think, yeah, only Karim getting by on Robert and benefiting from that 3-second time penalty can change that gap a slight bit here, because if you can get into third and get 15 points on the board, while Gabriel is probably going to stay in 7th, that would be a good shout here. But that gap between first and second for that 7 points is very big, so most points are gained and lost there as we head onto this final straight. The biggest and best overtaking opportunity for the third final time. And once again, Tizik is breaking that slipstream, going to the right hand side as early as of the exit out of that turn. And Karim was also doing a defensive shape here against Rising Moon, who is still in need to get by if his penalty stands. He is 6th. If it doesn't, he is 6th. That is not good, and the penalty and the strategy is not working. As Tobias is fighting Duca, and Endo got back on Kramer, but he has a time penalty. So that spin just really helped him close down the gap. Now Max Duca once again to the inside, and despite us only having 11 drivers, 2 groups of 2, and the rest is the top 6 fighting for the win. although both Mercedes currently on the board have a time penalty. And Tesig, despite that collision on lap 6 with Gabriel, maybe he even blocked the brakes himself there into turn 14, has managed to claw it back because there was so much fighting going on, and he really did not let his shoulder hang. There's a lot of ES charge being used by both of these drivers, and there's a lot more top speed inside that slipstream for Karim as trying to find a way by. And sometimes the best defense is the attack, and that was certainly tried here. Tudor is now attempting to take the lead on the last lap, goes around the outside of Tesig. And there's a slight contact at T, and almost Tudor spun around, and now Solid Ninja Snake is into second. And now Tesig needs to get by on at least one more driver to get back that P1, so that slight tap eventually helped Tudor secure maybe that first position. And now everyone is fighting for positions. And now Robert is trying to lunge it down the inside of Tesig, who was just looking like the winner today, but is now certainly under pressure to keep his second place. Was this bit mismanaged by Tesig? We don't know. We have to find out and see. And Tudor has taken the lead of this race on the at the start of the final lap. And now let's see who has... No one has more ES than him, but he does not have the DS. And Solid Ninja Snake, if his penalty is correct and is valid, he's not gonna get this win here. And everyone's just gonna blast out the ES. This is the final attempt, turn 14. Lots of lunges probably coming up, but no one seems to be in position to do anything. So it just stays the same. Slow exit for Tudor. Very little on the ES. Tesig cannot find a way past, and Tudor takes the win of the Chinese Grand Prix. Tesig in second, and Robert takes third on the line. Karim promoted into fourth, while both Mercedes are now losing out. And even if Rising Moon's penalty is not handed to him correctly, he will certainly be in sixth position. Max Duca's start crash, he could not recover that. The top six almost had the whole way of the field covered by that. There was no chance of getting back into a fight like this. Wow, what a race. What a race. Certainly a top three I did not predict, honestly. Wow. What a race. Tudor takes the win in China after being retiring from the Spanish Grand Prix. He comes back to take a very impressive win. Tesig second, recovered that well. Alternative strategy for all of them basically. Third position for Robert, Karim fourth, losing out there, starting from pole. So Ninja Snake into fifth. Demoted, fastest lap point for Rising Moon as of right now. Gabriel seventh, Tobias eighth. Max Duca with 2 points. Kramer gets the final point for Red Bull. And Endure with nothing at the end of this race. And we are now heading into some interviews after a short break. We are back for some drivers' interviews after tonight's Chinese Grand Prix, race 12 out of 16 for season 28 in AOR Tier 1. And we have what is only our fourth different race winner in Tudor for Aston Martin taking that W here tonight. What a race that has been. Super close top 6 fight throughout the whole race. And then at the end, you just make one move and suddenly you're on the top step of the podium. How was that race from your side?
I invalidated, but looking at the delta, it would have been up there, maybe second or first row, not pole position. But I was there with the guys, and then in the race, I decided to put way less front wing. I went 8 ticks down on the front wing, just so I could be faster in a straight line, because I knew the ERS here was critical. You wouldn't save much on a lap, so I just needed that bit of help in a straight line, which proved very helpful. I was able just to keep with the guys in the second sector. The understeer was there. I wasn't having very much grip in the hairpins, especially into the penultimate corner and the hairpin right after the sector 1 ending. But yeah, I knew that I just had to keep behind. Being in the lead was not the way to go for the race, because you could just stay behind, save the DRS, just stay in the DRS, save a bit of the tires, and I was going to make the move for the lead on the final lap on the big straight going into the hairpin, but I got surprised by Tazik, who lost control going into the final lap in the final corner, and from then on I just knew I had one lap to just blast out the ERS that I saved, and make sure I can get to the big straight with a big enough gap behind, so that I couldn't get overtaken, which it worked out wonderfully. So I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, obviously after your promotion here, you got on that front row of the grid in Canada, but since that, yeah, no points have been coming in for you and for the Aston Martin team, who unfortunately just lost Lucas. So you just held up to your own today and secured 25 points. What do you think are your chances going into the next race at Spielberg?
Well, it's another track that I like. I think I remember telling you that back way in Canada, that wasn't my track, and I was waiting for Singapore. Well, Singapore was a disappointment, wasn't it? Portugal the
Certainly.
same, Spain the same. So yeah, with those out of the way and such a good momentum here in China, I think I have to carry it on. I have to keep pushing and get uh, a win in Austria, maybe, but certainly I want to be up there again, because yeah, this feels good.
Yeah, obviously looking forward to more of your racing, because more drivers at the front means more action for me, and my voice is certainly gonna love tomorrow. So thank you very much. Enjoy your win, and see you in 7 days' time for what is hopefully gonna be very exciting Austrian Grand Prix. So thank you, and congratulations again.
Thank you as well. Have a good night.
Good night. Yeah, we move on to what is third place, Williams driver Robert. Well, that was certainly a very eventful one, and you coming out on the podium there, yeah, was all in the air at all the times, despite the Mercedes with those two penalties. Everyone in the top 6 could have taken that podium spot in any order. So how do you feel after this one? And tell me a bit about how you came up with these inverted strategy with starting on the hard tires. Some guys, like the McLaren, opted also to go for medium start, but yeah, what was your thought process behind that start on the harder compound today?
Well, I knew that qualifying was never going to be good for me. I mean, I've always liked China, but I'd never really managed to find the pace, and my qualifying pace has always been bad. So when I saw that I'd started 7th, the idea behind the inverted strategy was more stick with the hard runners and end the race on the good tires, especially when the track was heated up and rubbered in. So I was merely aiming for a midfield finish. Last time we spoke after, what was it, Portugal, when I had that pretty shocking race, I said that I want to get top fives and aiming for podiums for the rest of the season, and clearly I managed that. That's not to say it didn't come through luck. I mean, there was that incident on the first lap which put me into third or second. I did take advantage of a lot of accidents, made my own mistake, but I managed to make up for it. It was a roller coaster for sure.
Yeah, certainly at any stage someone could have taken a lead and maybe run away with it, but because of that DS positioning on the track in terms of the zones, it was also very hard to get away, especially when you use some of your ears earlier. But all of the fighting bunch to field back up together also opened a bit of the opportunity for Rising Moon to come back to. What was your prep going into this race? Because we just had a break that was quite lengthy, and we, as you said before, spoken the last time in Portugal. How do you feel going? How was your feeling going into this race, and what is the feeling going to be for Austria?
To be honest, this last few weeks have been absolutely packed for me, so I haven't been able to get in much practice. And when I saw the first qualifying laps coming up, I was getting a bit nervous about a good finish. But it ended up being alright, and consistency really for me was the name of the game. I mean, because I was consistent after my mistake and pitting a lap early, doing the undercut on the other inverted strategies, made sure I could stay with the train, and then just looking after my tyres after that. Me taking the lead on the hards, I was never expecting to run away. For me, that was more of a statement. I wanted to show everyone that even though I'm new in this league, I'm not here to mess around. And, if the opportunity arises, I will take it. If the opportunity for a podium or a win arises, I will take it. Austria has never been a good one for me, so there's definitely going to be a lot of practice this week for it. So, I mean, I'm hoping for another podium, and again, consistency, taking advantage of other people's mistakes and battling should help me get into another podium position. That's what we're hoping for.
Okay, looking forward to see what you can produce in next week's race, and thank you again for your insights, and congrats again on the podium.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Yeah, good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And we are moving to second place Red Bull driver Tesik for now, as he's joined the commentary booth. Tesik, that was very eventful, and unfortunately the win has just been ripped out of your hands on the final lap. Do you think that was the most you could have gotten today anyway, and you were just at the right time when those pit stops planned out at the end, and everyone just sort of got into that top 6 group that was fighting to the end there, and inevitably be when your let's say ES management is a bit lackluster because you have to be in front of the cars and trying to get away. You're certainly very vulnerable for attack behind. So what do you think? Were these couple of last laps looking for you, and did you expect this result here tonight?
Well, first of all, I came in with like 0 practice from the break, so I was actually pretty surprised with the pace we had. Yeah, for some reason I noticed too people were low through a first sector, so I imagine they were running lower downforce for the back straight. Tried to take advantage of that as much as I could. But yeah, I think running a little bit higher wings made my ERS management pretty wonky. So it kind of didn't help me pull away once I got into first. But definitely capitalized off that all that battling going on. They were pretty much slowing each other down pretty good, even though I made definitely I think a handful of mistakes that race. Especially that last one cost a pretty big one. But luckily, we still got second, so best result so far. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, obviously that last mistake going into that penultimate last turn 16 before heading for that main straight DS zone ahead of the final lap. Talk us through what happened there from your side. Just oversteer at the exit, or how was that from your side?
Yeah, I think if I had pitted a lap later on the hards, then the fall off would have been that bad on the mediums. It looks like that last lap coming into that they really fell off, and I took I think too much curb into the final turn, which unsettled the car, and then obviously on the curb on the exit, it just couldn't get the power back down. Then had to wobble, had to save it, it didn't come back on track, and pretty much dragged to the line. I had no ERS. I thought 2 Scooter would have passed, but it looks like we're both on ERS. So that made turn 1 kind of awkward, and then had to back out when I realized I was actually touching his wheel. So, sorry about that.
Yeah, it was close at the entry of one. Obviously, after what has been a very disappointing Spanish Grand Prix last time out, you and Karim before that were trading a couple of podiums since the Grand Prix at Monza, and now with that second place, you clawed something off that back. Are you still looking at this fight for what is eventually second place, or do you just try to maximize every race after what has been a zero score for you for the first time in this season? Where's your head at the moment?
Really just trying to maximize every race. Just go, not go all out, but get the best, fastest race result possible. And I think I'm not sure what happened on lap 7 or 8 into the hairpin, but I'm not sure who was it. But I got hit from behind and lost a bunch of positions too. So if that
looked
wouldn't
like
have happened,
Gabriel from behind.
Well, if that wouldn't have happened, probably wouldn't have lost I don't know how many. Definitely lost 5 or 6 positions. I'm not sure how many seconds, but that could have also changed the result as well. But we'll never know.
Yeah, that's true. Just a quick word on Austria. Do you like this track, or do you certainly want to get on with this one very quickly next week?
Austria is always a good track. Good racing, pretty fun, especially Sector 2. I'm hoping to have. I mean, I don't consider myself to be good at China, so I was definitely surprised with the pace today. So if we can have that same pace or more in Austria, then hey.
Okay, looking forward to another hopefully very entertaining battle with the top 6 of today, and congratulations on that second place again. See you in 7 days in Austria.
Yep.
See you. And we come on to our post-sitter for this race. Unfortunately, at the end, only 4th, and that is Karim. Yeah, Karim, that was certainly not what you guys at McLaren were hoping for. 1-2 for you, and then the medium tire strategy maybe not working out for you. Certainly, some of these medium runners were still putting a lot of pressure onto you, and then after they get past, you just really had to defend from Rising Moon despite his penalty. So, take us through your race. How was it for you out there, and what does this result mean to you?
Yeah, hi. I'm happy we were able to get pole again. It's been the last 3 races we were able to secure a front row, so for the team. So that's a positive. But yeah, I don't know if it's the mediums, if that was the problem, but not any major mistakes from my side. Just didn't seem to have the pace to stay up in the front. So happy overall. Good results in qualifying. Pace is good. I probably think it's maybe the medium strategy wasn't the best today. But yeah, not much I could do in the end just to try and stick with them. I knew Solid Ninja had a penalty ahead. Maybe was hoping for some drama to benefit from. Apart from that, I just had to be patient.
Yeah, obviously at the start, I was looking a bit with a question mark onto how you guys try to set up maybe the lead, because obviously in that early stages, like the first 6 laps, the mediums seemed to be very good overall, but you at first couldn't not pull a gap, and then in second there was a moment where Gabriel just tried to overtake you, but then just lost the car under braking for 14. Then there was a gap for third place to take you. That was just a bit wonky there. How was the communications going in your voice channel today? Because certainly when you start on the front row, that was maybe not the result you were looking for.
Yeah, exactly. That was the most disappointing thing. We were actually looking forward to it because we planned to be on the front row and then be on the mediums. We thought that would be the good strategy. And as soon as we realized that the guys behind us were on hards, we were happy, and we thought we'll take an opportunity to pull away and help each other with the DRS to try and create a gap. But for some reason, we found out in the race that we weren't able to pull away from the guys on the hards, and I think that was the biggest problem for us. yeah, we were stuck, and we tried to switch positions with Gabriel to see if he had a better pace and I could follow, but yeah, maybe a little luck up there on the hairpin, and but yeah, I guess it didn't go as planned. We thought we would easily be able to get out of the DRS range from the hards and then pull each other away. But yeah, for some reason, it didn't work out.
Yeah, at the end, there's still a strong fourth place for you. Looking forward to Austria, or do you just don't want to race at this track at all and just skip it? What are your thoughts and feelings for that race?
No. On the contrary, I don't know if some other drivers don't like the track, but I really enjoy it. A nice track, short track, fun for overtaking. There are many overtaking opportunities, and yeah, definitely looking forward. P4 is not bad. Also a good bunch of points. At this point, I'm just trying to secure second in the championship. That would be nice. And yeah, nothing to worry about. As I said, since Portugal, I was on pole, and then Gabriel was on pole in Spain, and then today we had a front row lockout. So I think we feel good, and we feel that we know what we're doing. So today would probably be maybe like a little example, like in Portugal, where it didn't go our way, and then we found out we had a little mistake in the setup. So probably one of those races, but we'll do more of the same in Austria, and you'll probably see us again locking out the front row.
Okay, looking forward to that, obviously, and good racing for a top 3 finish. I wish you, and see you in 7 days' time for Austria.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night. That has been it from today's Chinese Grand Prix, race 12 out of 16 for AOR's season 28. And yeah, I certainly enjoyed that one. My voice did not, and will tell me tomorrow morning otherwise. This fight for second is still not over, and in the Drivers' Championship, yeah, we have another interesting battle for the constructors as well, which translate basically from what we just seen today. Red Bull versus McLaren. They certainly could not close the gap down, but their qualifying pace is certainly showing something, and unfortunately Kramer did not have the best race today. Desic, again, with another podium. His best place finish is second now after today's race, and they certainly made way for that, yeah, as I said before, non-scoring result in Spain. In 7 days' time, we'll be heading to Austria, and after that is flat out racing till the end, as you can see, with Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, and Brazil coming up on the 1st of December. We still got something worth fighting for in the drivers and in the constructors World Championship. Williams with that good result today. Also closing in if McLaren keep struggling with Gabriel maybe, or just other drivers finishing in front. Biggest point swing, as we all know, is when you finish in first and the drivers are below second or further away. Let's see what the Austrian race can produce. Qualifying was very close today, and usually, by my experience, qualifying in Austria is the closest of all races all the season long. And then we'll be heading to a top speed track again, with Abu Dhabi kind of being in the middle, and then the Brazilian Grand Prix as the classic finale. If you enjoyed this, make sure to leave the YouTube channel of AOR a subscription and tune in for another race in 7 days' time on the 10th of November, same time as ever. And then we're going to be here for another great shootout for the top 6 positions. My name has been Hermann the German, and I wish you a good start to your week, and see you